What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here with another patron requested video. This is requested by Deadly Killer. Nice name, by the way, very awesome. And it's by Rob the Awesome, and it's the best and worst TF2 Pyro primary weapons. Okay, I am very much interested in this. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Trying to keep things short because I'm doing a lot of recordings, guys, all at once for the marathon. I hope you guys are enjoying it, by the way. So let's go.
What's up, guys? Rob the Awesome.
Rob
Today, I'm
the
going to take a look
Awesome.
at all the furious flamethrowers that the game has to offer and deciding which is the best and which is the worst. Let's go!
The hell was that? That actually kind of gave me jump a little bit.
Watching. These guides are more centered towards competitive. Casual pubs are too random to give any clear results, while competitive has a set meta for overall testing and results. Another thing you should know is that we don't focus purely on the stats. We also take into account the psychological perspective of the weapon as well, and how it affects both the user.
Damn, this is a good pyro. He's just frying everybody,
Lastly,
man.
if a weapon isn't on this list, then the only reason is because it is a reskin of another weapon. Alright, here we go! Like always, let's start with the stock flamethrower. This baby holds 200 ammunition and packs a punch at close distances, pulling off a whopping 154 damage a second when continuously applied. That's a whole package of potential right there. Included in this potential damage is Afterburn, a lingering effect that applies
doesn't work on other pyros
for 10 seconds after the stream of
Damn,
fire.
look at that, he's murdering everyone.
Doing an additional 6 damage a second for up to 60 damage for the entire Afterburn. Holy crap! And if it couldn't get any better, it does. A secondary option is available with the primary that allows a compression blast, or an air blast as many call it, to propel a blast of air that can repel enemies, flames, and even projectiles at the cost of 20 ammunition. As an added bonus, if you manage to use the said air blast to extinguish one of your teammates, you will get 20 health back in return. Pretty awesome if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
The deadly combination of damage and compression can result in a multitude of options, such as boosting enemies up in the air for other forms of secondary and melee damage, putting out flames on your teammates to keep them alive, and even reflecting projectiles to save you or your team, creating a massive and damaging explosion in the process. However, as the saying goes, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. The range at which you can spray fire and air blast is at a very close range. You need to be able to get into the heat of the battle in order to achieve any of the rewards.
That kind of makes Pyro like a defensive
you can play
class.
defensively and let the enemy come to you.
Yep.
Regardless, the flamethrower can be a powerful and well-needed tool in the right situations and the right range. But for now, we'll put this weapon right in the middle and go from there. This under-reviewed and underrated flamethrower adds a flair for flanking, the backburner. This pun of a name takes things for a turn on the literal side, giving the user 100% critical damage when hitting the enemy from behind. The downside, however, is that it costs 50 ammunition to use the air blast from the original 20. Risking a more defensive and tactical advantage for a more offensive one is a big risk, but can yield huge rewards if done correctly. Extra damage with an aggressive playstyle? Who wouldn't want that? However, the positive in this case is a major downside. As the pyro currently stands, the flame particles that register the hit isn't precise or accurate in the slightest. You can be giving the enemy a back massage and the extra critical damage will potentially not register at all. This seemingly great upside puts the pyro into an awkward position of vulnerability at the cost of potentially not even getting the upside whatsoever. So, if we treat the upside as a psychological downside, then the only thing that matters is the huge increase in ammunition intake to release an air blast. As mentioned before, air blast is a crucial thing for team play. It can save medics from bombing or stall time to evacuate the other, more important, classes from danger. To limit yourself to only 4 air blasts and potentially only 3 if you spew a bit of flames is a huge deal for the team's survivability and limits the pyro's options completely. Because of the non-existent upside that psychologically puts you in a poor position, and the huge downside in team play, I'm going to put this weapon below the stock flamethrower. It's definitely a neat weapon in pubs, when people aren't paying attention, but in a more competitive and coordinated environment, you're just not going to get away with that sort of playstyle. The one weapon that everyone, and I mean everyone, loves sarcastically of course, is the phlogistinator. This futuristic war piece allows the user to build an oomph meter by dealing fire damage to enemies with any fire weapon in the arsenal. That includes secondaries and melee weapons. When 300 points of fire damage is achieved, the meter will be filled completely, giving the user the ability to summon 8 seconds of full-on critical damage from the flamethrower. But not before doing a 2-second taunt. Luckily, the taunt is protected by an ubercharge invulnerability, but once the taunt finishes, you are back to normal and you are once again vulnerable to any and all attacks. The downside is that there are no random crits you can get out of the weapon, which honestly doesn't matter in competitive, and absolutely no air blast is available with this flamethrower whatsoever.
I think that's why I didn't use it, because it has no air blast.
M1's dream, mowing down enemies with ease and not having to worry about a second air blast mechanic. As glorious as this meter mechanic may be, there are a lot of flaws that make it rather hard to achieve and use properly.
Yeah.
For one, getting 300 points of fire damage isn't as easy as one might think.
No.
Direct damage is risky and ultimately reckless to a normal Pyro play. And with health packs, medics, dispensers, hell, even in another Pyro's air blast to take off the afterburn, achieving up to 300 damage with Pyro in one life is a rather large stretch. Sure, it's great in pubs where there's no coordination and random movement everywhere, but in the more competitive
no coordination,
aspect,
my
people are
ass.
closely knit together
I kind of
and
against
on
really
point
coordinated
with
teams in the
communication
pugs.
to clear any forms of potential casualties. The only realistic chance to achieve a full
there he goes
meter
again.
is by going over and beyond yourself to dive into a horde of enemies and activate the meter once you get it. Alright. By uncharacteristically heading into combat, you leave the medic vulnerable to spy picks and potentially getting yourself killed in the process.
Yeah.
Wonderful. But let's say you do achieve the meter and pop. You've got invulnerability amongst a crowd of enemies. You don't have an air blast and they're going to be ready for you. What's your escape plan? They can
None.
take the 2 seconds to run and or gain ground and pulverize you in one foul swoop. But let's take the unrealistic route. Let's say the Pyro gets a full meter and uses it behind a corner. He's got the crits and he's going at it for a major team kill. Well, there's too many things that'll go wrong there. Too many classes have distance weapons. Pretty much every class can keep their distance to pick the Pyro off before he gets anywhere near. A flamethrower is still a close distance weapon. No matter how you go about flanking or going in head first, you're gonna get called out before you lay a flame on anybody. You would need an entire team plan in order for execution to be viable, and even that is really hard to manage with a proper meta. This meter mechanic has its charm, but in reality, coordination will beat it out every time. Because of the recklessness needed for the meter to work and the no air blast flaw, this weapon goes below the stock flamethrower. Unlike the backburner, it's not a straight downgrade from stock, and you can at least coordinate strategies to make it viable in pushes. A lack of air blast can be accounted for, but the Phlog is merely a one-trick pony at best before it gets
I would put it below even the backburner,
Lastly,
though,
we have
given
the
his
charismatic
description
champion
of
of the flamethrowers himself, the degreaser. This baby has been the natural pick for many Pyro mains over the years, but is it exactly the best choice? When pulling this weapon out, it deploys 60% faster than usual, and when switching to a secondary or melee, it holsters 30% faster than normal. Talk about your quick switches, am I right? So at the cost of having faster weapon switching, your afterburn damage is reduced to 2 damage a second from the original 6 damage a second, and the air blast cost increases to 25 per use from the original 20.
That's not so bad.
Potential damage and upping the air blast cost does seem like a lot for a mere weapon switch speed, but in reality, it's actually not that bad. Afterburn, as cool as it is a mechanic that doesn't really spar too well in a fight. It's nifty for runaways or posthumous effects, but naturally, it isn't the mechanic that kills. There are med packs, medics, dispensers, and even other pyros to get rid of the afterburn no problem. It doesn't matter if afterburn does 2 or even 6 damage a second. It gets countered easily with map knowledge and team coordination all around.
Which I don't have.
But what about the air blast?
I don't have either of those things.
Losing 5 extra ammunition for an air blast really isn't a big deal. Usually with stock, you'd be getting a maximum of 10 potential air blast charges. The degreaser only gives you a maximum of 8 potential air blast charges. It's not that much of a difference, and even so, you shouldn't be shooting out blasts of air like crazy anyways. Only if it's to save a teammate from dying or getting the kill on your opponent. The downsides really don't seem all that bad anymore. They're nothing to scoff at, and really doesn't affect gameplay that much at all. But what makes the weapon switch speed increase so good? I mentioned before that air blast can propel enemies into the air, leaving them stun locked until they hit the ground. With a faster switch speed, you can pull out your secondary and or melee super fast, resulting in a greater damage potential and quicker kills with fewer getaways. This weapon pretty much takes what pyros are supposed to be doing in a fight and makes it a whole lot easier at little to no cost. This has great use in team play and it's almost a direct upgrade in every meaningful way. Because of that, this weapon goes above the stock flamethrower. This weapon is too good to pass up.
Some good advice to have.
Positive than a negative.
Maybe I'll switch. I think I have a degreaser.
This weapon, and it's now clear to see why.
Not sure if I do.
And those are the best and worst pyro primary weapons. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Leave a like.
Well, this is very informative. I got a lot of advice out of this. I'm definitely gonna be playing this. I think I have a degreaser.
Stay awesome and to have an awesome day. I'm Rob the Awesome.
Taunt.
And I'll see you guys later. Ciao for now.
Motherfucker, I'm awesome. No, you're not, dude. Don't lie. I'm awesome.
Pyro melee weapons, soldier primary weapons. I might be looking at those next. Okay. Okay, let's just wait a second. Is there anything else after this? This goes on for a while. Okay, so that goes on for a while. So that was okay. It doesn't do anything. So that was Rob the Awesome's best and worst pyro primary weapons. Try saying that 5 times fast. Pyro primary weapons. Pyro primary weapons. Pyro primary weapons. It's like anyway, that was pretty cool. That's pretty good. Gave me some good advice. I think I'm going to switch to degreaser. So, Rob the Awesome, you definitely get a subscription from me. Boom. And thanks to Deadly Killer for the patron who put me onto this video. Thank you very much. And you guys, don't forget to, if you can't become a patron, at least like and subscribe to my videos. Just like this video and hit the subscription button and hit the share button to share me on social media. And don't forget to click on the link to the original in the description. Get down to Rob the Awesome and give him a subscription. He's got 38K and I think he deserves a lot more because he can put out advice like this. This is very, very good. Very good. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content and bye-bye.